My name is Violeta Ross. In the past, I have spoken in many capacities. I have spoken as an activist, I have spoken as a person living with HIV, and I have spoken as a woman. Today I will speak as someone who, coming from Latin America, knows we are missing important opportunities to properly address the AIDS epidemic in our part of the world. It has been said that the HIV epidemic grows in the fault lines of society. And in Latin America and the Caribbean, we have many of these fault lines. We are among the most inequitable regions in the world in terms of income distribution. In 13 countries, the richest 20% of the population have more than 10 times the income of the poorest 20%. We have some of the most violent societies in the world. We are among the first for intrafamiliar violence and rank first for teenage violence. In many parts of our region, cultural norms still prevent women from freely speaking about sex or even suggesting that their partners use condoms. Racism, machismo, and homophobia are still prevalent in our region, and they increase vulnerability to HIV. However, there is hope. Our region's response also has unique and quite positive features. Our region has pioneered antiretroviral treatment in the developing world. In the last 3 years, the 4 most populated countries of the region launched groundbreaking anti-homophobia campaigns. The civil society plays an extraordinary role here. Before AIDS, we restored democracy. Now, we demand a stronger leadership and better accountability in the response to the epidemic. Our countries have made concrete pledges to scale up treatment and prevention. Some of these pledges are already being fulfilled. In spite of all that, we haven't been able to stop the epidemic. In fact, we now face 2 epidemics. The first one is concentrated among vulnerable groups. It affects men who have sex with men, sex workers, and drug users. Prevention efforts for these groups have often been neglected. The second is a generalized epidemic. Women now represent half the epidemic in the Caribbean and a third of all people living with HIV in Latin America. Take my country, Bolivia, where we are witnessing an increasing feminization of the epidemic. In this context, young girls are particularly vulnerable. Now the virus is spreading to the wives and girlfriends of sex worker clients and men who have sex with men. Without a substantial boost in national and international responses, we will lose the potential to get ahead of this epidemic. We need a larger and more strategic investment in the region in order to allow our countries to address both epidemics. Agencies need to review their eligibility criteria to ensure that populations living in poverty are reached by HIV care and prevention. Even middle-income countries need support. We have the potential to become the first developing region to treat all those who need treatment. But second-line therapies represent an increasing part of the budget of many treatment programs, and that is not sustainable. At the same time, we need to ensure that resources are used more effectively. More than simply provide information, programs for young people need to include the promotion of sexual health. Programs for women need to empower them and to address gender inequalities. Programs for vulnerable groups need to take into account the difficult realities they face, particularly stigma and discrimination. One thing I know, I will live with HIV for the rest of my life. And I plan to dedicate every one of those days to ensure that our response has the approach and magnitude needed to face the epidemic in Latin America and the Caribbean. Vengo de una cultura que siempre ha luchado por la sobrevivencia. Hoy estoy aquí para luchar junto con ustedes, no solo por mi sobrevivencia, sino por la de millones de personas que viven con VIH y SIDA. I really hope you will join me in this journey.